I didn't really know what to do for an intro for this video, so I figured I'd just wear this John Cena hat and do a couple of his catchphrases since he's in the movie. Uh, you can't see me. The time is now. The champ is here. Hey, what's up, you guys? Film fan 0599 here again, and today we're going to review Blockers. So Blockers stars Leslie Mann, John Cena, and Iken Barzin. I believe that's how you say his name. And what this film is basically about, it's about, when these girls, it's prom night, and the parents find out that they're all going to lose their virginities on prom night. So they basically want to stop that from happening, and we basically get some crazy shenanigans. So what did I think of Blockers? Now, going into Blockers, I had literally no expectations. I thought this looked god-awful from all the trailers. It looked pretty bad, honestly. Like, I was not looking forward to this movie at all. This was probably, honestly, one of my least anticipated movies of the whole year. It just looked terrible from the trailers. It really did. But man, I gotta say, I actually really enjoyed this movie. This is actually a pretty solid comedy. I actually quite enjoyed Blockers. Blockers is actually surprisingly a really good comedy with actually some really good heart to it, which surprised me a lot about this movie because I did not expect that going into this movie. So the fact that this had a lot of heart to it was pretty nice, actually, and I quite enjoyed this movie a lot, honestly. It's actually really good. I was quite surprised, honestly. So let's get into my positives with the film. And my positives are, first being the acting. The acting is actually really good in this movie. I thought everyone did a solid job with the film. Leslie Mann was good. This is probably the best performance I've seen from her in quite some time. With Leslie Mann, she's kind of a mixed actress with me. I've liked her in some things, and there's some things where she's really annoyed me in. But I actually quite liked her in this film. She was honestly perfectly cast as like a worried mother, honestly. She was really good in this film. I actually quite liked her a lot. Like I said, this is probably the best performance I've seen from her in quite some time. She was really good in this film. John Cena is like the best thing about this entire movie. John Cena, he is like this very overprotective dad, and he is like worried about like everything. It's the funniest thing I think I've seen in a while. Like, seeing John Cena, this big muscular guy, just being like this in the movie, it was quite hilarious. And every time he was so clueless too. That's what was so funny as well. And he was great. I honestly loved him. He was my favorite thing about this entire film. He was just hilarious in the movie. He was so great in my opinion. I thought John Cena was really fantastic, and honestly, I think he was perfectly cast, to be honest with you. Iken Barzin was really good too. I actually quite liked him a lot in the film, honestly. And he was really good too. I thought he did a really solid job in the film. And same goes with the three daughters in the film too. I actually quite liked them a lot in the movie too. They were really good. So yeah, the acting was actually surprisingly really solid in this film. I thought everyone gave a pretty solid performance. The comedy is really good. I think the comedy is really solid in this film. I was really laughing a lot in this movie, to be honest with you. There were some really funny things, actually, in this film. I was like, that was really funny. Like, there's some scenes that really had me dying of laughter, honestly. So, yeah, oh my god. There's some really great scenes, honestly, in this film. So, yeah, the comedy does work, It's really funny. I thought they did a really solid job with it in the film. So yeah, there are a lot of times where I was laughing in the film. And like I said before, this movie actually surprisingly has a lot of heart to it. Which, like I said, really surprised me. I did not expect that going into this. I was expecting just another dumb, raunchy, R-rated comedy. But no, this actually had a lot more to it, which I actually quite liked a lot, honestly. I actually liked the heart with this movie. It actually had some really good heart to it, and I thought they did a pretty solid job with that in this film. The chemistry between both the parents and the kids are really good. Like, I thought all three of the parents had really good chemistry with each other. Like, they surprisingly worked really well with each other, honestly. Like, I really bought into them as like a team trying to stop their kids from losing their virginities. Like, I thought they were actually pretty good. I actually liked them a lot, honestly. As a group, they were really great, honestly. And same goes with the three girls. Like, I really believe that these guys have been friends since forever. Like, I really believe that in this movie. Like, they were great. I really did think they had some really fantastic chemistry with each other. The writing is really solid with the film. I thought this movie actually had some pretty good writing, honestly, surprisingly enough. And the directing was really good, too. This movie is actually pretty well shot. The editing is actually really solid with this movie, and the cinematography is pretty good, too. So yeah, I thought the movie actually had some pretty nice directing to it as well. And I will say, for the most part, the pacing is really good. I was really invested in the movie for the most part. It is an hour and 42 minutes, I believe, and I was really invested in it, honestly, for the most part. Now, there are some negatives that I do have with the film, and my negatives are, first being, some of the humor doesn't work. Like I said, for the most part, it actually is really good. I was laughing, but there are some points where the humor just doesn't really work, where it just doesn't find its place at points. And I was like, it was like going for a joke there, and it just kind of didn't work. It didn't stick the landing, and it was just like, that wasn't that good. But like I said, for the most part, the humor is really good. But there are some times where it kind of just doesn't work. There were kind of some predictable, cliched moments I saw coming a bit. Just at times. There were some times I was like, okay, I kind of know where this is going and whatever, because it, kind of follows the same tropes at points with typical R-rated comedies. At points it does. So there were some predictable moments, and there were moments that I was just like, I kind of saw that coming. And lastly, I did think the pacing, it's mostly in the first act. It's a little bit choppy. The pacing is a little bit choppy in the first act. And, it kind of just doesn't land its footing really to get into the film at first. But once it does, it does. And I'm really invested into it. But I will say, at first, the pacing is a little bit choppy. Mostly in the first act. And I was just like, okay, well, let's try to find our place here. And they do eventually. And I ended up enjoying the film. So, Blockers, surprisingly, was really good. Overall, I actually quite enjoyed this film. It actually is a really good R-rated comedy that actually has some good heart to it, honestly. I quite liked Blockers a lot, honestly. So it's time for my official grade on Blockers, and my official grade on Blockers is a B+. It's a really solid film. I actually quite like this movie a lot. Like I said, really took me by surprise. I really didn't expect much going into it, and I ended up really enjoying it. So, yeah, Blockers is a really solid comedy. Quite liked it a lot. Definitely deserves a B+. So, if you have seen Blockers, what did you think of it? Please leave in the comment section below. I'm FilmFan0599, and we will see you about later. Peace.